What's up, you guys? This is Rob from My Gay Guy Plays, and today on Dress to Kill, we're going to be taking a look at part 3 of my round 11 TennoGen haul. Now, as always, we need to start these off with a little bit of a disclaimer that nobody is probably going to listen to, because we've all heard it in the comment section already. Why haven't you featured this? Did you forget about that? No, honey, I didn't forget about anything. It's just that Rob has a very particular aesthetic, and you know, I don't always get on with all of these items. And as many of you guys know, I pay for these all out of my own pocket, so I don't necessarily want to spend the time or money reviewing something that I'm not getting along with. Listen, if you love it, that's absolutely fantastic, and that should not stop you from picking it up, but it didn't necessarily work for me, so I'm not going to be covering it, and that's pretty much the long and short of it. Regardless, let's go ahead and take a look at all of the snazzy new things that I've picked up. So kicking things off, we have LED 2012's Harrow Hieropha Helmet, and let me tell you, that does not roll off the tongue. I've had to do like 3 or 4 takes now, and it's been absolutely insane. I'm like, Hieropha? I'm like, how am I doing this? Regardless, the helmet itself is pretty damn good. If we take a look at it, it does remind me a lot of the Suffragan helmet with the kind of like lasette shape and the kind of longer, I'm gonna call it a head tail. I don't know if that's really, you know, kosher, but regardless, I think it does look pretty gosh dang dope. And the thing that I like about it is the fact that I'm gonna call them face blades. He has face blades. He has face blades, and I like how it kind of like blends in with the kind of like secondary color. It kind of like blends into it, and then you see this little glint of metallic to it. I really like that layering work right there. And also, as you can see up top, he's got matching throwables dangling from his tail head. Listen, I don't know what to call these. I don't have actual names for them. However, I definitely think that it's one that you should check out if you want a little bit of a fancier version of the Suffragan helmet. Moving along, we have a highly anticipated helmet from Master Noob, the Oberon Taurus helmet. And let me tell you right now, the marketing behind this was absolutely amazing. And I can't really say marketing, but it's kind of like the way that he presented it to us, because legitimately, he showed it to us on a prime body, he showed it to us on the generic body, and then he also showed it to us on the deluxe. And I have to say, this thing is absolutely fantastic. One of the things that I always kind of like keep in mind and take a look out for is the texture versus the skin that it's on. So technically, you know, when we look at a lot of the other helmets out there, sometimes the texture on the actual helmet itself will be a little bit more matted, or it'll be a little bit shinier than the actual just base frame that it's on. So as you can see here, it's actually retained some of the reflectiveness of some of those pieces, so it actually matches up pretty gosh darn well. It's not exact, but it's really freaking close, which almost makes for this like near seamless blend with this helmet that makes you think that it could potentially be the primed helmet that he came with. Now, of course, we're not going to stop here. We can't, you know, can't stop, won't stop, because this thing looks fantastic on the prime, but it also looks absolutely amazing on the goddamn deluxe skin. As you can tell right here, this thing, while it's not exactly the same, like the theme just kind of fits with it so well. And I'm gonna be completely honest with you, when I first saw this, I was kind of like, it looks like bunny ears, but if you get a little angle on it, you can see the turn up of the horn, and you see the little turn down portion here, and I am just in love. So for all of you Oberon mains out there, I'm gonna be completely honest with you, I think this one is definitely a must-have. Now, moving into skins, I'm gonna be completely honest with you, Volkovyi's Nita's Moda skin absolutely took me for a loop. Originally, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, that's nice, that's like a cool concept, I like the metallic boots, whatever, you know, I was kind of like wishy-washy about it. I was like, let's see how this actually plays in game, because, you know, I'm always a little bit skeptical of how things are going to work out, and now that I have it in game, I'm kind of scared of it, because legitimately, I might lose some friends over this next statement, but to me, this could be one of my favorite Saryn skins, if not my favorites. And listen, you know, I got friends that do TennoGen and publish skins for Saryn, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, this one's got me gagging. And I know you guys at home are like, she doesn't even have her own unique helmet, why are you so like up in arms about this? But legitimately, there is so much detail and texture work on the skin that I am like shook. If you look at, number one, let's start off with the thing that I always go crazy for is the metallics. Of course, she's got crazy metallic boobs. She's got boots. She's got crazy metallic gloves. So that's always going to be an eye catcher. But what wins it for me is legitimately the texture work on the arms and shoulders. Those look so freaking good. They look absolutely amazing. I actually even really like the stomach piece, and that's weird for me to say. Usually I'm not like, oh my god, look at the stomach piece that they put on her. But literally, if you kind of like look at how everything is layered, all of the details that are in it, and then I have to put a little bit of light onto this. I'm gonna put a little light onto this, but the all of this, I don't even remember what it is. I'm like shook for this. All of the tertiary colors that are in there. This thing's actually marbled, so if you guys can't see right there, it's got like this almost kind of like soft stony texture work, and I am so into it. It almost looks like, you know, jade, or I guess quartz is see-through, but like any like lapis, like you could put some lapis colors in there. Like, it looks fantastic. All of the detail that's put into it just absolutely blows my mind. And while I do love the other Saryn skins, I have to admit, they look all very character-esque. You know, they look like they are a character. However, to me, the Nita's Moda skin looks like a luxurious piece of art. And that really appeals to me. You guys know that I'm all about the muted tones. I really don't like running around with anything that's like too eye-gougingly bright. So for me, when I see texture work and I see like all of this richness that's just built into the skin, I'm impressed. Like, even from this line that kind of goes from the neck down across the face and has it coming down this side, it's almost kind of like that line traveled all the way back. The detailers are just absolutely amazing. So if you guys are looking for a Saryn skin, because there are many Saryn skins out there, definitely check this one out, because this one, I think, you know, because it doesn't have its own unique modeled helmet, that I think a lot of people are going to pass by it, but I'm very impressed. Like, literally, Saryn's got so many goddamn skins now, it's absolutely crazy. So it's a little bit hard to find one that's for you. I mean, legitimately, I think it just dawned on me. Like, she's a snake, so she sheds skins. So that's probably why she has I was gonna be mad about it, but now it's thematic. We have officially solved the mystery of why Saryn has so many goddamn skins. So next on the list is the Banshee Sonority Skin by prosetisen. And I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. I kind of put the skin on and I was like a bit lukewarm about it. It's a nice skin. I really love the helmet, and that's probably what wins it for me overall. But I was kind of taking a look at it, and I was like, it's a bit plain. It's not really, like, killing me. For the feels, for Banshee, I'm not like, oh my god, look at that Banshee skin, it's the best ever. However, I do feel like it's a solid skin. I was kind of like thinking, do I feature this? Do I not feature this? However, as I kind of like played more along with it, I feel like it's like this soft regality. You know, it's not anything over the top, and maybe some people are kind of tired of the excessiveness of primes, but still want a little bit of metallic, and I think that's exactly where this skin fits. I love the helmet. The helmet is probably my favorite part. I really love you guys know I'm all about a crest, so we got the crest in there, and then we have these little things which look like mini monocles. I'm like, okay, so she looking kind of like pulled back and fancy, you know, she's a little sophisticated, she's not going too over the top like some of her other counterparts, and I have a lot of respect for that. So I was like, it's a good solid skin, it's not something that I'm absolutely dying over. However, there is kind of like this quiet refinement about it that I'm really enjoying. So if you're looking for something that's not too over the top and it's got a cool helmet, go ahead and check out the Sonority Skin. Alrighty, so the next one I know that a lot of people have been waiting for, because we have yet to get our hands on an alternate skin for Inaros, and this is the first one that we've got so far, which is the Horus skin by ... A. And I'm gonna be completely honest with you, it's actually pretty fucking good. Overall, we have some cool ass metallics. We've got that kind of little, almost kind of like pyramidic sun kind of thing going on. I love the gradation with the lines that kind of lead up to the neck to the face thing. I'm loving the helmet. I think it's absolutely fantastic. It looks really well done. Not super a fan of what's going on the tail there, but I do kind of love this open back that he's got going. Big fan of that. The only thing I am going to knock this skin for, as you can see, I've actually used blue on the skin, and I don't know if it's like a weird texture thing, or maybe, you know, things didn't go right when it got coated over, but this piece right on the chest is always blue. I don't understand why. like you can kind of like tweak it a little bit, but as you can see kind of here, even if you tweak it, it still kind of keeps that like gray blueness that's in the chest. So even if I make it red, it's still that weird gray blue, and it's not attached to another color. I know you guys are like saying, oh, it's attached to another color, but as far as I can see, it's not attached to anything else. So you might have to like work around that gray blueness in order to get a good look for it. Or maybe, I don't know, DE will put in a patch to kind of like fix the colors on there, because it's not gradiating in, because that would be my initial thought, is that it would gradiate in from the tertiary color. However, it does not do that. So if you want to put in green, you're still gonna have this weird like thing on the thing that's blue, and I'm just like, that's just strange. So hopefully you can either work with it, or, because listen, you can make it work. It's not a difficult thing to make work. However, it would also be nice to kind of like get that patched up so that it's like a nice gradient instead of just this like, oh, we just have randomly blue on your frame. Aside from that, I think it's a fabulous skin, however, from helmet down to the legitimately metallic toes. And closing things out for the Warframe skins, we actually have the Mirage Mithra by Lucinu_U, and I'm gonna tell you right now, we're friends again. I know on the last episode I got heated about them crazy ass pigtails that I'm like, you gotta go. But don't worry, we have none of that today. We do have a little bit of Lisa Simpson going on up top, however, it is forgivable because it's done in a gorgeous, gorgeous way. So as you can see here, the first thing that kind of pops out to you is definitely the energy effects, and all of the energy effects on the skin are basically like frosted glass. And I was like, ooh, and that kind of works really, really well with, you know, Mirage's whole theme is the fact that she's kind of like prismatic and she's refraction and all of that kind of stuff. And I think it looks amazing, mainly because of the fact that, and not too many artists would go do this, but usually when you have really like bulbous parts that are a little bit of an eyesore on the normal frames, they actually went ahead and made that a feature instead of something that was holding back the frame. They're like, let me see how I can make this weird, obtuse part of the design into something that is glorious, and they did it quite well. I'm very, very impressed. The shading on it is amazing, but Lukinu's always been great about shading. They like know their shading, and as you can see, the whole glass, like the whole kind of frosted glass thing, kind of resonates through even into the back of the shoulder pieces. Like everything is done. The detailing is absolutely amazing. I love how it's not just like carried through just on those big bits, but also kind of like into some of the metallics as well. And of course, we've got the detailing that Lucinu has definitely made their mark on, all these little scribbly bits that are really, really pretty and very, very ornate. The helmet itself, I'm gonna be honest, looks a little angry. Eyes look a little too close together. Listen, if you got close together eyes, I'm sorry, but I'm just pointing it out. Looks a little dragon-like, but overall, I can kind of like ignore that because of the fact that it's got these cool, like, I'm gonna call them head dagger pieces. Listen, I'm equating everything to weapons lately, but no, it looks really, really great overall. I think it's absolutely fantastic. Now, of course, we could not talk about the Mithra skin without going ahead and taking a look about the sword that comes along with it. Yes, Lucinu did do a skin for the Galatine Prime as well. Sorry about that, ignore that. That build was probably old and ratchet, so let's pretend we didn't see that. However, it looks fantastic as well and carries through more of that kind of frosted glass feature. I'm a big fan of it. And this, I don't know if it's just me, but that almost kind of reminds me a little bit of what we saw with the War. So it's kind of like the Galaxy or the Heavy Blade. The Heavy Blade can kind of like that War-esque feature. Can now be carried through on every single weapon out there. So I think that the pairing is absolutely fantastic, especially because of the fact that, you know, you could put reach on your heavy weapons, and you could have 4 Mirages making some magical slashing moments with them. So definitely pick this one up if you're interested, because I think that it's a good set. It's a good set. Now, speaking of sets, the last 2 items that I wanted to go ahead and spotlight actually really pair extremely well with any of the Grax skins out there. We're gonna go ahead and start things off by flipping it around over to the Solida Syandana by Hitsu-san. Yes, this is Hitsu-san's first dabble into the Grineer world, I believe. I'm pretty sure. Regardless, it is as detailed and as gorgeous as he always makes it. Now, a couple things that I do want to point out. First and foremost, I love the little wire work that falls over these little details on the side, and the fact that when you look into them, you can actually see these little grates underneath with the energy peering through. I absolutely love the way that Hitsu-san does small details. And speaking of another small detail, which I'm just like, you know me too well, he put the ribbons and the little accentuation detail on their own what is it called? On their own color channel. Which means that if you just want to change these little details right here, it's not gonna like interfere with the rest of the skin. So you're not gonna have like, if I want red ribbons, like the whole Syandana just doesn't have big chunks of red like attached to it. It's nice and subtle, and that's the way that Hitsu-san works. Yet somehow he's managed to make it work with Grineer items, which I absolutely love. I think my only criticism about the Syandana is the way that it attaches. I almost wish that it didn't attach so far out from the bottom, and it almost kind of like turned in a little bit more. So the top kind of came down and the bottom went a little bit in. But aside from that, I think that it absolutely looks fantastic. And the other thing that I like about it too is because of the fact that it's not too big, it's not too clunky. You can still get a little bit of the jetpack feeling without necessarily having like a massive like back attachment to you. And as you can see with all of the motion that goes around, I think that the small ribbons were a great choice, because a lot of the Syandanas that we see these days are just like, how can we go big and how can we go obnoxious? But Hitsu-san pairs that back into something that's classy and something that works still with the aesthetic. Now, we're gonna go ahead and flip it around, because legitimately, it does not seem like Harrow can be stopped. He's like moving around left, right, and center with the freaking Baguette Tonfa Skin, which is by Faven _PS, and in collaboration with Scharkie, who I absolutely love. So as you can see here, so amazing Tonfa Skin. It's actually got a lot of like this fire energy up front. Of course, that doesn't translate to the actual way that the weapon works itself. However, it doesn't stop it from looking absolutely amazing. Of course, he's also carried through the metallics, because you know I gotta have a little bit of metallics on my weapon, and I think it all looks fantastic. Like, he's never done weapons before, Faven, but now I'm kind of like thinking, I was like, maybe we could get you to make some weapon skins for some of the ugly Grineer weapons and make some nice looking Grineer weapons, you know what I mean? Like, they don't need to be like perfect, but something to kind of like, hey, listen, we have generic rifle skins, we have generic sword skins, all that kind of stuff. So part of me is like, hey, could you do this though? Could you make this happen? Because legit, I ain't trying to look at any of these like poo-poo looking like, you know, clustered bits. Like, oh, it's just so bulbous and so gross. This, however, I could definitely get down with. Alrighty, and that about does it for now. Let me know how you guys feel in the comment section below regarding part 3 of TennoGen round 11. Do you guys have any favorites? Are there any that you were like unsuspectedly drawn to after they got a little recoloration? Because you know, some of these artists, they put out crazy colors and you're like, we need to pare it back a little bit. Are you excited for Inaros finally getting a win in the skin department? You're like, finally we got a new body for you. Let me know all of your feelings. And that about does it for me for now. So as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch your body. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.